Welcome to the channel, a place where creativity meets craftsmanship and everyday objects are reimagined as expressions of art and design. Today, we're embarking on a detailed journey into the making of a piece that represents the perfect union between functionality and sculpture. A modern wooden chair that's also a work of art. This isn't just a furniture build. It's a meditation on design, a celebration of wood as a material, and an exploration of what happens when intention meets skill. From concept to completion, every curve, every joint, and every grain has a purpose. Whether you're a furniture maker, a designer, or simply someone who appreciates beautiful craftsmanship, this is a story that goes beyond woodworking. It's about the pursuit of form and meaning. Every object begins as an idea, and this chair was no different. The concept began with a simple but powerful question. What if a chair could do more than support the body? What if it could also provoke thought, stir emotion, and occupy space with the same presence as a sculpture? What if function and beauty weren't at odds, but partners? That idea was the seed. From there, inspiration poured in from the natural world. The bend of a tree branch under tension, the soft wave of dunes in the desert, the way water flows around stone. We sketched and rendered, not just thinking about how the chair would look, but how it would feel. The goal wasn't minimalism for the sake of trendiness, but a clarity of form, the kind that simplifies down to the essence, without sacrificing warmth or humanity. Once the concept was defined, we moved to material selection, and few materials are as expressive, timeless, and alive as wood. We chose walnut for the chair's main structure, a hardwood that's prized for its rich, chocolatey tones, complex grain, and strength. Walnut has this deep, velvety feel that's both elegant and comforting. It's a wood that doesn't just serve its function, it brings its own voice into the piece. For contrast, we introduced white oak, a lighter wood with a tight, even grain that added brightness and definition. Together, these two woods would offer visual depth and a tactile harmony. But we didn't just grab boards off a rack. Each piece of lumber was hand-selected, not just for structural soundness, but for its story. We looked at grain direction, color variation, and texture. Every element had to contribute to the whole. Every piece needed to complement the others, not compete. Designing the chair involved extensive modeling in CAD software. We needed to perfect the proportions, the geometry, and the ergonomics. The back needed to support comfortably. The seat had to provide just the right balance of firmness and give. The legs needed to angle in a way that gave stability, but didn't detract from the visual flow. We adjusted and iterated endlessly, changing degrees by tenths, redrawing curves again and again. We used 3D models to visualize how light would hit the piece at different times of day, and how the shadows would fall under different conditions. This wasn't just about technical functionality, it was about creating an emotional response, a sense of calm, a sense of harmony. The final design was both modern and timeless, an interplay of soft curves and sharp edges, of negative space and solid volume. Once satisfied with the design, we moved to the build phase. First, the lumber was milled, flattened, squared, and cut to dimension. This is where patience and precision matter most. The quality of every joint, every curve, and every finished surface depends on this foundation. The walnut and oak boards were joined into panels using domino joinery and adhesive, ensuring strength and grain continuity. Each board was placed to flow naturally into the next, allowing the wood's patterns to guide the eye and enhance the shape of the chair. We then cut the chair components, legs, stretchers, seat, back slats, using a combination of jigs, templates, and good old-fashioned handwork. The leg angles were compound, requiring angled cuts on two planes, so we used precision jigs to ensure consistency. Mistakes here could mean instability in the final build. For the backrest, we employed the steam bending method. Strips of walnut were soaked, then heated in a steam box until pliable. We quickly clamped them into custom bending forms to achieve that gentle, supportive curve. This process is delicate. The wood must be pliable but not overcooked. Too little steam and the wood snaps. Too much and it becomes mush. Once bent, The slats were left to dry in their forms for several days, locking in the curvature naturally, without stress. Steam bending is both science and art, requiring intuition, timing, and respect for the material's limits. With all components shaped, we move to joinery, one of the most important and revealing phases of any furniture build. We opted for traditional mortise and tenon joints where strength was essential, particularly where the legs met the seat frame. These joints are time-tested, strong, clean, and invisible to the eye. But we also expose some of the joinery deliberately. For instance, where the back slats met the frame, we inserted brass pins, a subtle, elegant touch that added both visual accent and mechanical strength. These pins weren't ornamental for their own sake. They were a nod to the honesty of craft, a way to say, here's how it's held together, and we're proud of it. Every joint was hand-fitted, not forced, not over-machined. Just right. A satisfying click as wood met wood. No file. No shortcuts. With the chair dry-fitted and stable, we began the sculpting phase, arguably the most artistic part of the process. The goal here was to eliminate any sense that this was a set of parts. We wanted it to feel like one continuous object. Using rasps, spoke shaves, and carving gouges, we softened every transition point. The legs became extensions of the seat. The arms melted into the back. The visual mass was reduced, lightened, and given movement. Long hours of sanding followed, starting with 80 grit and working up to 400, each pass revealing more depth in the grain, more subtlety in the curves. There is something meditative about this phase. You stop thinking in terms of components and start responding to the piece as a whole. Your hands guide your decisions more than your eyes. You begin to feel where more material should come off, where a line should rise or fall. It's tactile poetry. Next came the finish, and we chose a natural oil and wax blend. This isn't a quick spray or a heavy polyurethane coat. It's a hand-rubbed finish, applied slowly, massaged into the grain. The first coat immediately brought the walnut to life. The grain darkened, the figure popped, the depth appeared. You see chatoyance, that shimmer that changes with the light. After each coat, we let it cure, then buffed it with fine cloths, building up a soft, glowing surface that looked and felt organic. No plastic cine, just the glow of honest material, well treated. The oak accents stood out even more, their golden hues bright against the deep walnut. The chair began to radiate a quiet confidence. Once the finish cured, we moved to final assembly. Each piece was glued with precision, clamped gently but firmly, and allowed to dry. We checked all angles, ensured there was no rocking, and confirmed every joint held tight. If you found inspiration here, in the curves, in the craft, in the concept, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and tell us what you're making. And if you want to see more content that blends woodworking, design, and artistic vision, don't forget to subscribe.